completely in box with the dual motor force feedback. The G27 is compatible with PlayStation 3 and PC, but we're going to do a quick look at the PC compatibility. Special gearing, complete with shifter and 900 degrees steering wheel. I think the G27 has a lot of potential even in 2021. And don't forget to mention that it seems to be that it is compatible with PlayStation 2. But okay, so let's take a close look at the steering wheel, because there were some minor differences when it comes to the G25 and the G27. I will make a separate review or a comparison video with the two steering wheels in the future. With the old packs we are going to get the complete shifter. There are some differences with the new and older models that we're going to talk about in the future. But what I do like about it, it's an all-including package. And that is what I think is pretty cool. Nevertheless, let's do a quick overview of the steering wheel. The steering wheel itself has some new improvements, like 6 buttons in total on the wheel itself. Therefore we're also having this RPM meter that I do like. Let's take a close look at the steering wheel and how good is the quality, because I think the Logitech G series, when it comes to racing wheels, they just have a very nice high quality product. If you're looking at all those years that have been used, the steering wheel is still in very good condition. At the back we're having two RVS flippers. I do like these with the more like micro switches, but they can malfunction when the steering wheel is going to get used a lot. So that's something you need to take consideration. The layout and the casing, it's still the same. If you look at the G25, I do like this front. It looks like a racing car. The mounting system is exactly the same like all the previous models, and so far I know even the newer version. We're going to take a close look at it later in the future. So the cable management is exactly the same like the G25. Everything needs to be connected to the steering wheel, like the shifter and the pedals, but as you can see here, you can't mess it up because we're having two different connectors over here. And we can do some nice cable management, something that's very positive with these steering wheels. And compared with the G25, the motor inside this steering wheel is completely different and doesn't make that much of a noise anymore. So that is a big improvement when you're looking at the G27. So what I do like about this kit, that we're going to get a shifter, and the shifter itself is a very nice addition. I was always fascinated with this steering wheel. The shifter itself is slightly different if you're looking at the G25. There is an improvement with the gearbox to give more like a realistic feel to it. I must say that I did indeed like it more than the G25, simply because it doesn't feel more like this wiggle stick inside a gearbox. Nevertheless, we're having here the 4 buttons and D-pad and 4 red buttons, so we can all reconfigure if you want to do some stuff in the game. So when you're looking at the way you need to assemble it, exactly the same thing like the wheel, but the shifter indeed feels way better. I wouldn't say it's more realistic, but it feels way better when you need to shift. And yeah, they removed the knob, so this option is not available anymore with this G27. The mounting system is the same like the steering wheel itself. I like it, but you're also going to need the third one, otherwise it will move around when you're using the shifter. And here we have the cable that goes into the steering wheel. I have played with a lot of, let's say, basic Logitech FX kind of version, they're only having 2 pedals, and the 3 pedal is just really cool if you want to have more like a simulation. With Project Cars you can really use the clutch itself, and it is just a completely new addition, and it gives more like an extra simulation in my opinion. So when you're looking at this, the pedals are exactly the same, or so far I see the same like the G25, and I must say what I do like about it, that we're having 3 different springs over here. And it gives more like a simulation. How does it feel? Take consideration that you can change these out. There are a lot of modifications when it comes to these springs. So I think the community itself and what you can do with these pedals are pretty cool. And here we have the connector that goes into the steering wheel like the shifter, but you can't mess them up. So the racing pedals is just a really cool addition to this G series of racing wheels. And so far I know they are all the same when it comes to every single model. But take consideration when you're buying one used, always ask if the power supply is with the steering wheel. You're going to need it, and it's a special one, a special voltage 24 volt DC. So it's something you need to take consideration when you're getting a wheel, otherwise you need to buy one separately. Okay guys, so the first game that we're going to play is Forza Horizon number 4. I think that this is one of my favorite games nowadays to play with the steering wheel, simply because the force feedback is supported very well. You can notice when you're driving a little bit faster that the steering wheel is going to give you completely different force feedback when you're basically driving a low speed. Nevertheless, driving on gravel, the effect that the steering wheel gives you is just amazing, and I think in combination with this game it's great. So let's play a little bit.
200 yards, turn left. Turn left. In 400 yards, turn sharp right. Turn sharp right.
Nevertheless, Forza Horizon is a great game to play if you want to use the shifter or you just want to have the shift pedal. Nevertheless, it's a great game to have more like an arcade racing experience. But if you're having a Logitech G27 and you're going to play Project Cars, one of these many games you can play, this will give you the really exciting simulation. You also can use the third pedal that I'm using in this video, and yeah, it gives you this racing experience to the next level. Project Cars is one of my favorite simulation games at the moment. Okay, so we're having this game called Flat Out 2, one of my favorite destruction derby games, but sadly, even if this steering wheel is supported, I did notice that the reaction of the wheel, it works all fine, but the force feedback motor is not responding like with the previous game. So I would take consideration that not every single game works perfectly with the steering wheel force feedback. Okay guys, so this was my review of the Logitech G27, how is it in 2021, and I think it's still very cool. The Logitech G series is just a great racing wheel if you want to get into this racing. It's not very cheap, depends of course where you live, where you buy it. But if you can pick this up for a very low amount of money, I think it's worth picking up. I want to thank you for watching, consider subscribing, hit the bell, become on the Wicked family, and if you have any questions, you can leave it in the comments. And I will see you in the next video.